Hey everybody, welcome back to the TSF Garages. Once we installed the Iron Rock Off-Road 6.5-inch premium long arm lift on the 99 Jeep WJ Laredo, we discovered in closer inspection that the front drive axle was jacked up. The boot on the back and at the transfer case was missing, MIA, which is, you have this warping all around here, and you can see there's any light here. There's a rubber boot that's supposed to be there that's completely torn. Okay. There are several manufacturers of front drive shafts for the WJ. I was reading around some forums. There are a few that are ready-made for the WJ, and things are just kind of, nothing's very specific for this model of Grand Cherokee. So I went with these guys. Enter Carolina Driveline. Okay, so we're under the vehicle now. We're looking towards the rear. This is the rear flange of the front drive axle. Simple replacement. Pop the nut, pull the flange, put the new one on, pop the nut back on, and then tighten the four 8mm bolts. However, those 8mm bolts, there were 8 of them that came out of the original, and on the new one there's only 4, and they're 12 point. So I don't have a 12 point 8mm socket, so I'm just going to be using a wrench and then just putting some elbow grease on there. Unfortunately, when I look deeper, when I got back here, see all the shaded area here, shaded and dirt area back here along this line, and what that's indicating to me is I've got a seal leak from the front of the transfer case here, which will have to be replaced. Unfortunately, there's no parts local. I have to order them, and same with the fluid. In order to replace those seals, I would have to basically do a fluid flush of the entire transfer case, which is fine. It probably needs it, but it's a special Mopar fluid. Although in some of the forums, some people say that there's some mobile fluid that is authorized to be used instead of the Mopar specific fluid, but it comes in gallons, and I'm not about that. So I found this pretty cheap place, $10 a quart, 4 quarts to fill it up. So okay, it's on the way. So once I get all the stuff, the parts and fluids, then I'll have to just pop this off and again service the entire transfer case, put the seal on there. And I found the same stuff, the same issue on the back side to the rear drive seal. Here, let me show you real quick. Rotate the high-speed lamp here. Okay. So if you see what I'm talking about here, we've got signs of leakage from the rear seal here. So there's a line right around here, right, of moisture and seepage, and it's all dark, gathering dirt, stuff like that. It goes all the way around, even to the thermal shroud back here over the muffler. So it tells me, right, so we've got, this is all nasty. So this tells me that my seal back here needs to be done up. So it's going to be a complete, top to bottom service of this sucker. Okay, so after some field expedient ingenuity, trying to lock the flange down in order to keep the nut, as I'm trying to loosen the nut from spinning the flange, what I wound up doing was putting the vehicle in low, the transfer case in low. So start the vehicle, shifter in neutral, transfer case to low, put it back in park. And now the flange is locked. And then I improvise a cheater pipe with a piece of 1-inch PVC, which worked, and I finally broke that nut. Now these nuts are different. They're different from the back versus the front. So this one here is 28 millimeter. All right, this one here is 28 millimeter, but the one on the front, on the axle side, is actually 29 millimeters. So there's a difference. Okay, let me put this camera down and get this nut off. I'll get right back to you. Alright, finally made I just made a ratchet combo with my 1/2 inch. Just with some home tools, man. I'm not a big old mechanic guy. Okay, nut off. So now, this thing should just come off. I got the flange off finally, after some serious soul searching and ass whooping. Basically, you know, all the instructions just say, oh, just tap it with a hammer, it'll slide right off. Yeah, no. So, but what I have noticed is that magically all these videos have the flange already removed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over my technique here. Okay, so we took the nut off, the center. All right, so I took this big old, what it is this is actually a horseshoe spike for a horseshoe pit, right? And I came in through the side here, behind the flange, and pried it up on the back of the flange. And you can see here on the bottom of the skid plate for the skid plate for the transfer case, pried it up there against the back of the flange and literally beat it with a hammer. Then rotated it and beat it some more. Rotate it, beat it some more. Rotate it, beat it some more, till finally it broke loose, and I was able to slide it off. So it was. You'll see if you have a long pry bar or something like that, it's really difficult to get an angle behind the skid plate here to get up around the base of to get around this thing to get behind it. So this thing is to come up on the side and just kind of pry it like this if you can. But yeah, because of the leak, I'm going to go ahead and do the right thing and stop here. I think I can get a piece. I think I can get the seal for that, but that's going to mean that I have to drain the transfer case. So I'm going to drain it. Like I said, I ordered my fluid. It's on the way, but I don't know when it's going to get here. So I'm going to have to stop here. I'll drain the fluid, replace the seal, and then button everything up until I get my transfer case fluid back. So, time to head to the store. Hopefully I can find one of good repute. Okay, we'll be back at you.